welcome to this video. Today I'm going to give you a tour of my new Google Sheets grocery store cost comparison spreadsheet. Basically, the way this works is this is a spreadsheet in which you're going to be able to create a database that includes the items that you usually buy, and then you can add how much each item costs on up to 4 different stores. So you're going to have to do the research. You can choose your own 4 stores and you can compare 2 stores, you can compare 3 stores, or you can compare a maximum of 4 stores. So once you add your items in this section and you add how much they cost on each of the stores that you want to compare, you're going to be able to create grocery lists very easily by selecting items from these drop downs. And all the items in here are the items that I added in my database. So you can either select them or you can start typing, and then you can use the arrows to move around the list and quickly select items. So once you build your grocery lists and once you add quantities, you're going to see the best value is shown automatically over here. So this is how much this grocery list would cost according to the information you added in your database over here. So this is how much it would cost if you were to visit multiple stores and if you were to buy this item from the store that offers the best value. Of course, visiting multiple stores is not always possible, especially not if you do it every single week, but it's a great thing to have as a reference. And once you have that reference, you can scroll to the right and you can check the store comparison table. So this is going to show you how much your grocery list that you created over here is going to cost on each of these stores according to the unit costs that you added in your database, and it's going to get sorted from the best option to the worst option. And as you can see right here, this one is the best option. And when compared to the best value, the one that you would obtain if you were to get these items from multiple stores, you would pay $17 more. So you can decide if it's worth it to visit multiple stores to save this amount of money, or if you would prefer to just go into a single store, then based on the information that you added on your database, you can decide that this one is the best option for this specific grocery list. And the cool thing about this is that it's dynamic. So this one, maybe it's not always the best option. Maybe you're only buying personal care items and it turns out that Costco is the best option for this specific grocery list. So this can help you make decisions based on this combination of items. So you're not always visiting the same store just because it's your routine. Maybe you realize that for this specific grocery list, you should be going somewhere else. And once you've made your decision, you can scroll over here and you can select a store from the drop down. So if you select best value, what you're going to see is what you see by default, which is the store that offers the best possible value is going to get assigned automatically along with its unit cost. But if you decide to select a specific store, for example, then that's the store that gets assigned, and the unit cost that you assigned on this store is what's going to be shown here. So this gets assigned based on your selection. These are the items that you added over here. This is the basic information that you added in your database, and you can absolutely make up your abbreviations. The only important thing is that you understand them. And then your quantities get multiplied by the unit cost, and this is how you get the total. And this list is great for printing. You can take it with you to the grocery store, and when you grab the items, you can quickly compare costs and then see if they changed. You can take note, and then you can come back home and update your database later. So it does require work because everything is created using the information that you manually add yourself. So if you're the kind of person that enjoys doing the research and gathering this information so you can make sure that you're getting the best value out of things, then this spreadsheet might be a great place for you to save all that information that you gathered. And I hope you find the automations that I created useful. So that was a quick overview of the basic functionality of the template, which is you start by creating a list of the stores that you wish to compare. Then you fill your database with items and their corresponding unit costs on each store. And then you can start creating grocery lists. And those lists that you create are going to use the information that you added in your database to show you valuable data that you can then use to make decisions and to keep track of your costs. So that's the basic functionality, but I also included a couple other features that you might find useful. So I'm going to talk about those now. So everything starts with you customizing the database tab. So you add your stores, you customize your list of categories so you can then use those categories in your database. You fill your unit costs. And once you're done with that, you're going to scroll to the right and you're going to see this table updates automatically. And what this is doing is it is sorting your unit costs, starting with the best value and then ending with the worst value for each item. So it's there for a quick reference, but it's actually better to use this section over here whenever you want to take a look at an individual item. So the way this works is you either select an item from this drop down or you start typing in the item and then you use the arrows to quickly select it. So once you select an item, you're going to see all the information that you added in the database is going to get pulled into this individual view. So as you can see, it's number 10. So if you take a look at row 10, you're going to see that everything that I added in here is being shown over here. And as you can see, the unit costs that I added, they're getting sorted automatically, starting with the best value and then ending with the worst value. And if you need to make a change, your database might end up getting big. So throughout the template, I added these links. So if you hover over it or if you click on it, you're going to see the cell in which this item is located in your database. So if you click on here, you're going to jump into that cell. So if I select a different item, I can quickly click on here and I'm going to find that item in my database very fast. So that's there if you need it. And in your database, you don't have to add items in any particular order and you don't have to keep items from the same category together because everything will be sorted dynamically in your sortable view. So if you scroll all the way to the right, you're going to find your sortable view. So you can order it by number, you can order it by item name, by category, or by store. So as you can see, apart from the basic information for each item and apart from the row in which it's located, you also get the store that offers the best unit costs along with that corresponding unit cost. So in this sortable view, you're only going to see the best store. And if you would like to filter the table and just see the category fruits, for example, you can use this drop down. You can see only vegetables, personal care. And then if you need to make a change, you also have this link available. So you can click in here and you'll jump into the database and then you can add any information that you're missing or you can make any changes that you need. So this is the database tab and you're always going to have just one database tab, but you can create as many grocery lists as you like. So as you may have noticed, there's these two tabs over here and they have locks in them. So we're going to talk about the second one in a moment, but this one over here, GL, it stands for grocery list and it has a lock because this is your blank original. You're never going to touch this one. It's always going to be blank and you're going to use it to create copies. And you do it very easily. You just right click and then select the option duplicate. So you can create multiple copies of the grocery list tab and maybe keep multiple grocery lists for multiple weeks. So you can start creating your grocery lists in advance and you can keep as many of them as you need. And they're always going to be connected to the same database. So you only have one database, but you can have multiple grocery lists. All you need to do is duplicate this blank original GL, which stands for grocery lists. So I'm going to delete this. So I cleaned up my tabs and now we're going to talk about the manual list. So the difference between the grocery list and the manual list is that in the grocery list, you can only assign items and quantities. And then the store that will get assigned in your final list depends on your selection over here. So you can either select the best value or you can select a specific store, but you can't actually make any changes to this list. So if you find yourself in a scenario in which you would like to be able to maybe leave everything as it is, but make a few changes to a few items, then instead of using this list, you're going to use the manual list. So in this tab, you can either make selections manually. You select a store, you select an item, and then you add a quantity. Or you can copy information from your grocery list tab and you can paste it in here. So as you can see, this is expecting the store, the item name, and the quantity. And that's exactly what we have here. So I kept this the same and together so you would be able to just copy this section and then paste it into your manual list. Now, very important, when you're pasting, you're not going to use your keyboard. You're going to paste by right-clicking and then selecting the option Paste Special Values Only. This ensures that this scratching effect that I created is not going to get messed up. I also included those instructions up here so you could always keep it handy. Once you have these values, you can make any additional changes manually. So let's say I want to change this to Whole Foods, for example, and then the corresponding information and the corresponding unit cost is going to get pulled automatically from the database. And as an additional feature, I also pulled the best value from the database so you could see it next to your selection. And if you would like to highlight the rows that are not using the best possible value, you can use this checkbox over here. So once I check it, you're going to see all the rows in which I could be getting a better value. And as soon as you make that selection, then the row is no longer highlighted. So I'm selecting the recommended store on each of these rows. And as you can see, it's not getting highlighted anymore and my total is actually decreasing. So you get these suggestions over here. They're only highlighted if you check this box. If you uncheck it, they're not going to be highlighted. So you can use that to make any additional decisions, changes that you want to make. And then depending on whether you used the manual list or you used this dynamic one over here, you can either print this section, you can print this section, or you can print this section over here. And I also added dynamic checkboxes because I know you guys love them, but I actually suggest that you print it, that you just grab a pen, and when you're in the grocery store and you're grabbing items and putting them in your cart, you can quickly glance at the unit cost, at the prices, and you can check them against your list and take note of any updates that you need to make to your database. And I like this because you're keeping a reference of costs. So if something increases, you're going to notice. If something decreases, you're gonna notice. And then if the total that you were expecting is more than what you actually paid, you can find the differences and make additional updates to your database when you get home using your receipts or taking note right there in the store. So if you're the kind of person that enjoys doing this, I hope you like this spreadsheet and I hope you find it useful. And you can also create as many copies of this manual list as you like. All you need to do, right click on this tab, ML, which stands for manual list. This is the blank original for the manual list. So you just right click, select the option duplicate, and then you can double click in here and give it a new name. So that was a quick overview of how everything works and how everything is connected. If you already have the template and you would like to watch a video in which I start with a blank template from the beginning, and if you want to follow along and fill it out with me, I'm going to leave the link to a second video in the description. I'm going to talk about a few more details in that video. If you would like to purchase the template, I'm also going to leave the link in the description. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I love talking to you and helping. I hope you like this. I hope you find it useful, and thank you so much for watching.